What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy BT, and today we have this multi-function motorcycle audio visual system. This product has been sponsored by FBINSE, so thank you guys for sponsoring this video. So let's get to it. All right, so here is the unit. This is what we're checking out today. All right, so here is the unit. You can see it's going to connect on a rotational axis. So we're gonna have to find a spot to mount this. But inside the box here, all right, inside the box we have, this looks like the mount. All right, so here's the mount, handlebar mount. Attach it in here. Tighten it down. And then next we've got all of the assorted cables. Oh, and then we also have this 64 gig SD card. All right, so back to the wiring. So here we have, we've got some cameras. That's pretty cool. Looks like we've got possibly some front and rear cameras for this. Wow, this is a nice little kit. There's some more cameras there. Yeah, there's your DVD-R and your DVD-RF. So I'm assuming this is the front. This is the rear. All right. Then we've got the wiring to run those cameras to their respective locations, and then the power line here. So this looks like it's going to be a pretty straightforward install. Okay, so we should, let's see, we should be able to test this out without running the extension. So I'm just going to go ahead, plug this in here. Yeah, there we go. Screw that in. We're going to plug this one in here. All right. Peel off our protection for the lenses here. And then we've got our power line right here. So we're going to need to strip these back so we can get some wire exposed here. But we do have our ground and our positive. And our power line goes in right here. And you can see here, based off of this, it shows you an arrow here and an arrow here. So you know you got it facing right. And then you just lock it down. All right, so let's go ahead and strip our wires back a little bit here. 18 gauge there. Yep, okay. Strip that down. I'm going to strip this one down too. Just going to test power that. Yeah. All right, I'm going to go ahead. We're going to hook this up just for a test run. And then we're going to figure out exactly where to route it for the final installation. All right, so we've got this thing hooked up to the power just to see how this is going to work. All right, so the default password for this unit is 4 zeros. It is actually listed here in the manual, which was hiding at the bottom of the box, face down, blending in, but we found it here. So you've got your manual. We've got a Carplay here, so you can see the name, the PIN code to get that set up. You've got the Android Auto here, same thing there as well. And then you've got your DVR. So here is where we can see, so here's our front camera. Look at that right there. Wow, pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool, okay. And then we can switch to our rear camera. There's our rear camera right there. Look at that. This is pretty awesome. You can turn it upside down. Probably get, let's see, can we, I wonder how we're going to have to mount this. Yeah, because you're probably going to mount this upside down, so there's probably a way to flip this image here. Yeah, that's pretty cool to have the cameras on the bike. So we'll figure out the orientation piece of this. Oh, you've got cycle time, so it can cycle through the camera. Oh, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Okay. So there's the setup. We've got some apps in here. Oh, TPMS. Okay, so if you have the TPS unit for this, you could actually get a TPMS reading there. So yeah, this is a pretty cool unit. Wow, this is definitely, this is a game changer to have this on your motorcycle. As you can see here, right there's a mount for the phone. The reality is you may not need that anymore when you've got a screen like this, because you can actually see everything on the screen from your phone. So if you need directions or whatever, you can do it all from right here. All right, so in our instruction book here, shows you the instruction, installation guide, all of that stuff. So everything you need to get the job done is right here in this little booklet. All right, so that's that. Let's go ahead and see what this thing looks like on the bike. All right, so based on my current setup of having this on this side, it would make sense for me to go ahead and just add this to this side right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these screws off. All right, so based on this, the way things are set up here, we're gonna go ahead and slide this in from the top, put this here. Then we're gonna go ahead and get this set in place with the little nuts here. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and tighten this down in this spot right here. We'll use that as our installation spot. All right, so we've got that nice and tight there. Okay, so this looks like a pretty good location here. So considering, you know, this is not a wireless unit or anything like that, we're gonna have to figure out how to route these wires in a way that makes sense. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tuck them in the same spot that these wires over here are running, and I'll kind of pass them through the same location here. All right, so we've got them kind of coming down here in this section here. Hopefully that gives you a decent range of motion there. And then we got our front camera. Now this wire is short enough that depending on where you mount this thing, depending on where this is mounted, you may or may not need the extension. So let's say we mounted this thing right here in the front. We wouldn't necessarily need to run the extension piece through there. That's not a bad spot there if you wanted to mount the camera, and then you can route the wire that way. So that could also work. So let's see, if because basically you can't take the unit off and carry it with you based off of the way how it's set up. So if I go ahead and plug this wire in here, line up my arrow to arrow, tighten it down, and then if I were to just kind of tuck this behind the light here, or run this through here, like so, and then tuck this behind here, behind this light, then you could basically have this camera facing like so. So you can actually have that camera here, you can tilt it up, and you can get your front angle that way. So we got our tape here. Okay, so then we'll go ahead, we're just gonna mount this guy right here in the center, like so. All right, so we've got our front camera looking forward there. All right, so next we've got to find a spot to mount the rear camera. So we're getting our tape set in place. And then based off of the way everything's looking here, for the sake of this, we could actually put our rear camera right here and come up in through here with our line. All right, so here's our rear. So what we can do with the rear is actually come up in through here. There's a little spot right there. We can feed that down. Once we feed that down, we can connect it right there. And after that's connected, we can kind of fish it back up to kind of sit in that position there. So then actually what we can do here is with that wire running that way, we could actually mount it here under the center. If you want, you could actually, drill a hole here or take this out and make a pass through there if you'd like. But that's one option of how you can actually run the camera for some cleaner wires there. I don't really feel like drilling into this at the moment, so I'm just going to use that pass through there. We're going to mount it here. We can always take it off and clean it up later if we want to go that route. Man, that's pretty cool to have cameras while you're riding. Okay, so for this, we're going to run this in the same direction. As you can see, this install is pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy. We're going to run this in the same path as the power wire is going to run. So this wire is going to run in this path as well. So now what we need to do is we got to take this off and make room here so that we can get these wires run through. So in order to take the side panel off, you just take these 3 screws off, and there's these little tabs in there. You just press down on those tabs, and you should be able to get those out. And then we should be able to take this off. Just a little pull there, get that off. All right, so now you can see we've got access under here. Here are our wires coming through, the 2 we need to tap into. So again, you can see, should be a very straightforward, easy installation. All right, so for this portion here, all we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and feed through 2 cables that we need here. And looking for the most optimal spot to feed those cables through. Keep them well out of the way. We're gonna feed them through that top piece there. Okay, and then after there, we're just going to bend this corner here, pull them through. And we'll keep the excess wire back there so we can kind of wrap it up back here, keep it out of the way. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to loop these into the current wire holders that are here to kind of keep those in place. So first, let's go ahead and get our distance run complete. So again, line up your arrows here. Okay, nice and tight so you can see here as we turn, making sure we have good range of motion. So I'm going to turn the bike in that direction, make sure I have good motion there. And then all I'm going to do, I'm just going to kind of tuck these. I'm just going to go ahead and pull some through. I'm going to tuck some here. Keep that range of motion always there. So I'm going to tuck right here. Later I'll come back with a zip tie just to hold those in place. Then I'm going to go ahead and tuck them underneath here in this section. So now everything is in place. I've got motion here. None of the wires are going to snag on me. All right, so with that in place, I think we're good here. So then we're just going to go ahead, reinsert this cover. All right, so now all that's left to do is basically for us to clean up our wires, wrap these tight, zip tie them down, tuck them away, keep them out of the way. And then this wire here, this is our power cable. So basically just neatly clean this up. Tuck away any of that excess. And then get everything hooked up to the right spot. So I'm going to make a permanent connector for this in the future, but for now we're just going to get them under the screw here. All right, and that's as easy as the install is right there. And we are done. That's it. Installation complete. Well, one thing to note from a wiring perspective, this thing is on even though it's turned off. The bike is off. So we're going to have to rewire this because it's just going to sit here and drain the battery. So either you can probably introduce a switch where you can turn it on, or you just wire it to something else that gets power after the bike is on. All right, so we're going to go ahead and set up the Android Auto. So there's all my info there. I should be able to come here, find it here on my list. That's pretty cool. Wow, look at that. Directions on the go. Man, this is pretty slick. This is pretty slick. This is definitely a game changer to be able to have this on the bike in this manner. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So we can head here into our cameras. There's your front. There's your rear. I'm going to have to figure out how to get this flipped around because this one is upside down. All right, everybody, that's it for this video. As you can see here, I'm going to reach out to the manufacturer, see if there's a way that we can flip the video on this here. But as you can see, this is pretty cool. We've got the Android Auto right here. This is pretty amazing. This is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. So I reached out to the manufacturer on this here. So as far as adjusting the camera, if it's upside down, all you have to do is turn the camera until you get it to the setting that you want. And that's it for adjusting the camera. So thank you for a solution on that. So that's it for this video. There'll be more to share on this in the future. Yeah, I'm going to definitely be putting this to use here on the bike. It's your boy BT. Thank you for checking out this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.